Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today we're going to be doing a Valentine's Day edition of palette bingo. It's been a little while since I've done a palette bingo here on my channel and I really enjoy doing them. And so when I was thinking about it, I was like, yes, that would be super fun to do a Valentine's Day sort of edition of a palette bingo. And when I was thinking about all of the different palettes in my collection, the first one that came to mind was my Natasha Denona Lila palette. I absolutely adore this palette, and it is just full of all of these really beautiful purples and pinks, and it was a strong contender. It was a strong contender, but I actually went a little bit of a different direction because I thought, you know what? If we're gonna do it, let's get cheesy with it. So instead, we're going to be using my Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. This palette is adorable. All of these shades are, let's see if I can do this without blinding anybody, in these little heart-shaped pans, and it's just so very Valentine's, like elementary school Valentine's Day, where you would, decorate brown lunch bags and everybody would bring Valentines and, pass them out to everybody. Like this, to me, the packaging, the format, all of that really just screams Valentine's Day. So that is what we are going to go with. So I am going to pull up, I'm going to do, I think 5 shades sounds reasonable because there are a lot of browns and kind of taupey sort of colors, so I don't want to get too many that are going to be the same, if you know what I mean. So let me go ahead and pull up my Pretty Random app. There are 16 shades in this palette, so I'll go ahead and I will set my variables from 1 to 16. All right. Oh, why does it work for other people? All right, fine. Hey, come on. 7. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are off to a festive start. So the first shadow that I drew is this just bubblegum pink right here. Let me give you a swatch. This is in the shade Cotton Candy. So it is just a metallic, very bubblegum pink sort of color. So we are already on theme. All right, let's see what the next shade is going to be. The number 1. This is in the shade Almond Truffle. That is this shade here on the end. Give you a swatch of that as well. It is a matte, kind of dusty, pinky, kind of browny kind of color. All right. The next shade, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is Molasses Chip, which is, what am I doing? This shade there on the end. No, not on the end. Second to the end. Sorry. Having a hard time, folks. Having a hard time. Alright, so this is kind of like the same color as that matte shade, only metallic. Alright, we got 2 more. Let's hope for something a little bit deeper so that we can, deepen up this kind of color or this kind of look. No, we already have the number 1. 8. Not a darker shade. So if Cotton Candy here was number 7, this is number 8, and that is in the shade Cafe au Lait. By the way, one of my favorite coffee drinks of all times. So we've got 3 shimmers that we're working with here. Let's go for a dark matte. Come on, dark matte. All right, last shade. 14. Okay. 14 is Totally Fetch. It is kind of like a satin, but it is deeper. So, put it over here on the edge. It is deeper. So yeah, we can make this work. We can make this work. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, hop off camera, pull my bangs back, zoom you guys in, conceptualize what we're gonna do here, and then we'll get into the look. All right, so we're zoomed nice and tightly into my face. I have already done my face makeup, which for me, I know is living dangerously. Well, I take that back. I haven't done all of my face makeup. I've just put down my primer, foundation, concealer, and powder. I wasn't sure what kind of colors I was going to be pulling, so I didn't want to put on the blush, bronzer, and highlight because I wasn't exactly sure which direction it was going to be going. Additionally, I have gone ahead and set my eyes with, prepped my eyes with my MAC Painterly Paint Pot, which if you've been keeping up with my year-long project pan, is something that I am working on this year. And then I set that down with the cream colored shade from my Salvaje palette in the shade Luna, which is in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. So getting some extra use. I'm gonna go ahead and take Almond Truffle, which is the One True Matte that we got in this assortment. I don't know. I can't talk today. There's something wrong with me. But I am going to go ahead and put that into the crease to start with. It's going to be a pretty basic look. My guess is you already saw it coming a million miles away. But that's all right. That's all right. I don't mind being a little bit basic. So I'm curious to know, do you have any Valentine's Day traditions? We don't really celebrate Valentine's Day a whole lot in my house. My husband was never really into it, and I'll be honest, having a toddler, you don't really get to be into anything anymore. You know, and it's kind of okay and kind of not. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm going to be super rambly today. Kind of in a weird mood anyway. Okay, I think that that is kind of enough. I really like this shade. It's kind of deceptive because in the pan it looks super duper light. But as you can see, just fluffing a little bit of it into my crease, it is definitely deeper than I expected, and it's pulling kind of purpley. I'm not mad at it. It's just a surprise. I am then going to take Cotton Candy, that first shade that we chose, and I'm going to pack that all over my lid and use Totally Fetch, that bright pink, on the outer third. Again, you probably saw this coming from a mile away. It's not super inventive, but I apologize. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, we could have gotten a babysitter, but I'll be honest, especially this year, in my condition, trying to get all like fancied up and go out to a nice restaurant and not be able to drink wine or eat a medium rare steak or have uncooked fish or any of the things that I would want to partake in didn't have a lot of pizzazz for me. Not going to pretend otherwise. So this shade is actually quite sheer. So it'll be super interesting when I go and I put that very neon pink out in the outer corner. But so far I'm kind of digging on it. It's very soft, very romantic. So yeah, so we're not going to go anywhere or really do anything, but in years past, my husband has cooked for me on Valentine's Day, so I would expect that this would be the same this year. Don't really do a lot of presents and stuff like that on Valentine's Day, but I don't know, he might surprise me. I have some chocolates for him. I always like to get him a little bit of something. All right, let's see how this baby goes. But I'm always interested to hear about other people's traditions and things like that, because I just find the way people build their relationships and things like that to be just so interesting, because there's almost always a story behind it, and I just find that so beautiful. I really do. I don't know how people meet, and you know how they you know, form relationships, and for those of you who are engaged or married, how they pop the question, or kind of how that engagement happened and things like that. Like, I just find those kinds of stories just so beautiful, because it just really highlights really lovely moments in time that I think sometimes can get a little bit lost, I guess. So yeah, I would love to know if you have any fun Valentine's Day traditions, and if there's a story there, I kind of want to hear that too. All right, so we're looking very pink, which is kind of the point. But the shade isn't packing on quite as intensely as I think I expected it to. I am using a little bit of a fluffier brush, so that is probably why. And to be fair, I've had this palette for a little while, and I haven't used it in a little while, so that might be it too. All right, so let's leave it there. And let's take just a clean, dry brush. Let's see if we can clean up a little bit of my overblend. See, normally this is why I don't do my foundation and stuff first, because then I can just take a little bit of a damp cotton round or something, go in and clean that right up. But we didn't do that this time. Okay, so here is what I'm thinking for the lower lash line. Let's find something with a little bit of density to it, shall we? Nope, definitely not that one. See, I'm trying to get away with being lazy and not having to get up and go to where I keep some of my other brushes. So that'll either work in my benefit or not. So let's see, I've got a couple of new brushes over here that I have not used yet. You might work for me. Alright, I have a couple of contenders. Alright, that still seems a bit flimsier than what I want. Let's see, you... Alright, we're gonna try this guy here. Here's for hoping. Okay, so I'm gonna go into Molasses Chip, and I'm gonna try to pack that all along the lower lash line, bring some brightness into the look here. Let's see how that goes. So in addition to hopefully my husband cooking me a very nice dinner on Valentine's Day, we're also doing a little bit of a party at work. So as you may know, if you've seen some of my videos in the past, the job that I have requires a ton of travel. Now, I haven't been traveling Probably the last 5 months or so. I've been just staying out of the travel, but everyone else in my department still has their same regular travel schedule. So we never got to do like a Christmas party or anything around the new year. So we're just sort of wrapping everything into Valentine's Day. So we're doing a little work party on Valentine's Day, which again is a Friday this year, in case you didn't remember. And we're doing a white elephant with like a bajankety Cupid theme. It's actually really funny because we're taking Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and Valentine's Day and I don't know, maybe some of St. Patrick's Day, who knows, and sort of cramming it all into one festive event. So that'll be interesting, but I still have to get my white elephant gift to share. And I think what I'm going to do is get, again, I can't talk. Pregnancy brain is hitting me really hard these days. I'm going to get like an oil diffuser kit with a lot of like de-stressing essential oils and stuff like that, because I just feel like that would be appreciated in my department at the moment. Okay, so I kind of like the way that looks. It is brighter, a little bit more metallic. I don't want to add any of almond truffle, just because I feel like as nicely as that applied to my crease, that it might be a little too much for the lower lash line, especially given the direction that I've taken it. So I think I'm just going to leave it there and go in with some eyeliner on the waterline. I think is probably what I'm going to do. But before I do that, let's go ahead and do my inner corner highlight. And for that, we are going to use Cafe au Lait, which is that 5th really bright metallic shade. So that will be fun. Like I said, I think I'm going to do like this whole like stress-free theme. But additionally, since hopefully enough people from my department will be in town, I'm also planning on doing a gender reveal, which will be a lot of fun. Although, kind of anticlimactic too, because a woman in my department who had really put me very much on the spot about telling her the genders of my unborn children, and it just made me very uncomfortable. She kind of outranks me, and it just was a very awkward sort of situation, but I did end up confiding in her as to the genders, and she totally announced it the other day. She was like, oh, I didn't realize people didn't know yet. I was like, seriously? So it might be a little bit anticlimactic. It might be awesome. I'm hoping for the latter, obviously. So that'll be a fun party, I think, overall, regardless of whether or not my news is all that interesting anymore or not. I think it'll be a really good time. I'm totally looking forward to it. So yes, I'm going to go ahead and jump off camera. I'm going to apply the rest of my face makeup, add some eyeliner, some mascara, and then we'll come back for the final look. All right, my friends, so here we are back with the final look. And I have to say, it is fun. I don't know that it's something that I necessarily would have chosen on my own, but I think overall it came out really nicely, and it might be what I end up wearing on actually Valentine's Day to our holiday party, because I think it would be really kind of fun and festive. So I did finish everything off with my Tantastic bronzer. Again, if you have been following my Project Pan, you know that it is one of the products in it. I decided to maintain the cheese factor, and I used my Orgasm blush from NARS. And then from Becca, this is Lilac Geode. This to me is very Valentine's Day because I did buy this for myself on Valentine's Day when I was at Ulta a couple of years back. And so for me, it feels very, very Valentine's Day-y, even though it's not what it purports to be. But it's this really neat, it looks very pink in the pan, but it comes off very just soft and gold and beautiful. It is without question one of my favorite highlighters in my collection. And then on my lips, also from Becca, this is one of their lipsticks in the shade Cupid's Kiss. So I thought that was all very appropriate. So I hope that you have enjoyed this look and this palette bingo that we did for Valentine's Day. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.